You're listening to News Talk Sauga 960. Also streaming live on sauga960am.ca.
You are listening to New Theory Radio.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of New Theory Radio here live on News Talk Sauga 960 AM. My name is Nav Nanwa. I am your host. This is a show where we theorize on all things current affairs, pop culture, and everyday life. And if you hear a lot of noise behind me, it's because we are doing this show live from Garden Square in Brampton, Ontario at the Vibrant Brampton Festival. Yes, my first remote experience here on radio. Sauga 960 is a great partner of Vibrant Brampton this year, so we thought it'd be great to get down to the city of Brampton and really connect with a lot of the individuals and citizens that make up this city and really allow them to theorize on all things current affairs, pop culture, and everyday life. And today's going to be a bit of a mixed bag of a show. We are going to be welcomed by various guests throughout the next 2 hours. Who knows who we might have on, but it's going to be fantastic because I want to theorize about a bunch of different things. I want to theorize about the fact that arts and culture in the city of Brampton is becoming more and more important to the city's makeup, and I'd love to pick some of the brains of individuals here and get their thoughts on the scene and how it's currently evolving. And then I actually have my lovely producer on this week's episode. If you listen to the Elemnt on Saturdays, you probably have heard her voice before. She's my good friend Taman Atwal. She will be joining me a little later. She actually wants to theorize about Jazzy B, who is probably known as like the king of Bhangra when it comes to South Asian Indian music. And he's currently performing right behind us. So if you're hearing his noise, it's definitely from him and his awesome track list that he's currently performing here live at Garden Square. But he's a bit of a pioneer in the space. He's done a lot when it comes to the South Asian music scene, so Taman wants to comment on that. And then we're probably going to be talking about a lot of randomness, but more importantly, we are going to be giving away the pair of OVO Fest Day 1 tickets. Yes, I announced last week that we were going to give away these tickets on the air. People had to go on social media and they had to comment. They had to tell me their theories on OVO Fest 2020 and what's exactly going to happen. And I think Taman and I are going to do that a little later on, and we're going to choose a winner and see who's going to OVO Fest Day 1, which features B2K, which features Chingy, which features Bobby Valentino, Yin Yang Twins. What? Taman's trying to talk to me. What? Yes, Bobby Valentino is going to be there. And then, Taman, I think we actually are going to do another contest for another event taking place next week as well. So definitely stay tuned here on Sauga 960 on New Theory Radio. But we are going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to have more on New Theory Radio here on Sauga 960. I think I'm going to call on my lovely producer here to chime in. Taman from the Elemnt. Taman, I feel like we're in the middle of like a South Asian wedding.
Yeah. you hit that on the nail.
Yeah. I feel like I'm at someone's Sangeet.
Yeah, it's fun, but a traumatic experience for me. You know, when you grow up as kids,
yes,
you're forced to go to midlas.
You are.
Yeah, so like these like festivals, and you're like running around, and you lose your parents, and there's people in the front dancing, and drunk unks everywhere. And so like I'm getting like a bit of PTSD right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's a nice environment. It's not like that.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I remember growing up, and for those that don't know what a mela is, how would you describe it? It's like a meetup of families. Is that pretty much what it is?
So it's like a massive like Indian festival, basically. Yes. So it has like rides, so there's like food, and like basically you're meeting your families there, and there's a huge stage, musicians.
Yeah, and there's always a lot of good food too.
Yeah.
Melas always have a lot of good food.
Yeah.
Like
I think the food's free.
It is usually like the melas I used to go to growing up, they were like family run.
Yeah.
So like I feel like every family that went to a mela had to bring a dish. Yeah, just to make it more community based.
Yeah. It was really like that, and it was cool. It was fun.
Do you feel like our generation can bring back the mela but modernize it? Or do you feel like we already do that?
I think we already do that. We do it much more on an international scale, I guess, or a Western scale. Like we'll have block parties, right? We'll have like concerts and like things that we organize ourselves. Like for example, like in a couple of weeks, you're in the process of organizing Meta Festival, which you'll get into, right?
Oh yeah, and what's great about that is that you and Gurjot from the Elemnt are going to be emceeing it with me, which is great. I'm actually curating it with the people that have put together Vibrant Brampton. Sauga 960 is a media partner for that as well. And it's actually going to be happening in the venue right in front of us, which is the Rose Theater Studio 2, which is like a fantastic spot. Like I love it. And that's an interesting point, because I remember, I think you just celebrated your birthday not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
You kind of did like a 90s medley for your birthday.
Essentially, you know what it was? I gave a track list to my friends of 90s music, right? Like 90s hip hop, a little bit of pop thrown in, and someone took the phone and started playing old jazzy.
Really?
And like old school Punjabi music, and it literally felt like a midla.
Okay, so let's actually start theorizing about that. Yeah. Let's theorize about family traditions, but in modern times.
Yeah.
Because I know being the children, you and I, of immigrants. Yeah. I know there's always this concern when a family goes to a new country that they're going to lose some of the traditions that they gained or that they were used to. And I find that that's kind of happening now. Am I missing something?
Sorry, this is my jam.
Oh, you love it? Is your track?
You know when you're a kid? Sorry.
Yeah. Jazzy B is taking us back right now. He's taking us back. Wow, that is a classic track.
Yeah.
But I think that's a growing concern. And now I'm going to become a dad in December. Yeah. And I'm starting to think about these things a lot more. I'm starting to think more about what is growing up for my kid going to be, and how is that going to be different than the way I grew up?
Yeah.
And what are things that traditionally I did that are going to still resonate?
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's the constant thing that I think about now that I've become a dad.
I think it's really fascinating that you bring it up, only because lately this is like a theme that I have been like repeating amongst a lot of my friends right now, because a lot of them are getting married, and so it's like, you know, with marriage or with wedding season comes all these traditions, so like week-long weddings, and even in terms of weddings, you're inviting people that you don't know, but your parents know, and it's just tradition to have a big fat Indian wedding. Yeah. There's a lot of things like the Jura ceremony, which are, or like things like that are really constrictive, especially to women, right?
They are.
And so it's like breaking down these, and like, but I also think that it depends on the person or the community. I know that like a lot, like for women, I see barriers be broken down, but I see a lot of, like, this is from my experience, a lot of men embracing those, like from the Punjabi community, for example, because from the Punjabi community, a lot of men are hanging on to those values, and so you see these weddings become bigger and bigger. I think like in terms of like a lot of it is habits too, right? Like, or cultural, not really tradition, but like just the way that we. Sorry, this is so distracting.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's our colorblind photography drinking mango juice while we're talking. That's fine. You really love this song, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a break soon so you can go and dance.
But, no, it's okay. I'm cool. But I think that a lot of it were cultural habits, right? Like growing up, it was very like taboo to date. And I think that's something that like we kind of brought it into like, oh, such an Indian thing, or it's such a this type of thing. Yeah. Whereas like now, going forward, you see parents becoming more liberal. And I think by the time that, you know, you're having a child, and when I have kids, that's going to be something that like it's going to be normalized, right?
But you know what's fascinating is I think back to my wedding, and I think now of the fact that I'm going to be having a kid soon, is like I find, and maybe I'm speaking, and I feel you and I are kind of on the same way. Yeah. So there's some people like both of us that are very much within North American culture. Like, we know we listen to a different type of music. We like are attracted to different types of things. We spend our time in a very, very differently than people from back home. But then when it comes to weddings and when it comes to having kids, all of a sudden, like, the traditions start to matter. Yeah. Like, so my kids do first week of December, and historically in January time is Roli time, right? So right now, a part of me is like as much as I'm thinking about the birth of my kid, I'm also thinking about, hey, I need to do a Lodi party in January, or do I wait the next January to do it? Like, it's things like that where 5 years ago, like, I'd be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's starting to matter.
Yeah. I think that it really does depend, though, right? Like, when you're having, it's like a whole different type of environment. I think traditions are cool in some sense when they make sense.
Yeah.
But then also, like, it's also time to celebrate. I think that we celebrate certain things for different reasons. So reasons might also change, right? So I know, for example, like, there's all these traditions, like Lodi or all these traditions of celebration.
Yeah.
And we might do it because that's a chance to get with family, meet with family. That would be a chance for your son to, you know, everyone to meet your son.
Or daughter.
Or daughter, sorry.
I'm doing a Lodi no matter what.
Yeah, Lodi for her, right?
Yeah, shout outs.
So it's a chance for everyone to meet your child, and like there's a lot of like fun that's associated with these traditions.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily all have to be bad, but I think that like even if we continue all these cultural traditions, we have different reasoning to do so.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And we can justify it too.
No, you totally can. And a lot of it, I feel, also comes with age too.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, when you start to see your parents get older, and you start to see the stuff that they value.
Yeah.
And then you get older and you start to realize, hey, you're no longer, like, you can't be selfish anymore. Yeah. You almost have to take into account the feelings of others, because it's very easy in your early to mid 20s to be super selfish and want to do things a certain way. But then once you start hitting these milestones, you start to think about other people and just how it might affect them, right?
So I have a question for you quickly.
Sure.
So I was in England.
Do you know it's my show? I ask the questions, right?
Yeah. This is why you don't.
We're on the air right now, yeah. Sorry.
This is why you don't put two hosts together. But the question I have, so a couple years ago I was in England, and there was this person that someone that I met, and this person basically goes to me and she's like, I'm third generation British.
Third generation. So that means her grandparents were the ones that came to England.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So she's like, she's third generation British. She's like, I still have a very Indian name. I'm still very connected to my faith. My kids are connected to their faith. Yeah. The fourth generation. She's basically boosting about like, you know, how great like folks in England, how much they're attached to it. Yeah. And she's like, in Canada and North America, she's like, I don't see it the same. And she's like, it's because of your multicultural policies. She's like, I feel like a lot of you guys are like losing your, right?
Yeah. Sorry. You know what happens when you're South Asian and you hear a bummer song that you know, the shoulders just like start going up. If only we had video to show this. But, yeah. Okay. But
and she was basically like, over here you'll have second generation kids that have lost their heritage, or like their parents have tried to assimilate.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about that? Do you think what she's saying is like, how do you feel about that comment?
It's crazy because I feel like we live in an age now where people are looking for culture.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why when you go to Zara, you go to like Uniqlo, you go to any of these furniture companies, why there's such an appeal to like Asian, Pacific, South Asian culture in general. I feel like people in general are just looking to identify with something.
Yeah.
And as much as the second generation, which is our generation, was so focused on being North American, I feel like you need culture. You do. Yeah, and there's a sense of pride. Like even now, being in an area like Garden Square and being amongst people and jamming to music that we all grew up to, like it makes you feel nice that like you were like you know this stuff and you're able to identify with it. So it's just one of those things where, you know, I feel like culture should never be lost.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what, and I'll be honest, my Punjabi is horrible. Our station manager Joty Pannu always makes fun of my Punjabi because it's bad. And my biggest fear is to one day interact with her parents and they speak full Punjabi with me and I'm just gonna freeze. Hope they didn't hear that. But honestly, part of me also feels bad about that because I'm so Canadianized that I do understand it because I used to speak it, but I lost it along the way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I went to India like 2 years ago when I was in an area where I had to speak it that it was like a defense mechanism to bring it out.
Yeah.
So I think culture is important. I think you need to always hold on to it. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think there's some elements of culture that are very important. I think, like you said, everyone's looking for a culture. Everyone's looking for a place to fit in, right?
I think I see Ameek walking. Amin, can you go grab Ameek? Ameek, the guy in the bug.
The turban.
Yeah. So Ameek from what's his show? Oh, we're gonna break.
His Big Talk.
Big Talk. He's down here just to go see Jazzy B. We're gonna try to get him on the show.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna go and take a quick commercial break. We're gonna take you some Jazzy B, and then when we come back, I think we're gonna still keep on this conversation about traditions.
Hey, you should get Jazzy B on.
I'll try. See ya. Back here on New Theory Radio on News Talk Sauga 960. It is complete pandemonium here at Vibrant Brampton. We are reporting live from Garden Square, and you never know who you're going to bump into here at the square. And we actually have another amazing member of the Sauga 960 family here. He is from Big Talk. He is somebody that actually hung out with Jazzy B a couple days ago.
Yep.
And he's my homie. Ameek is here.
What's up, man?
Bully is here. What's up, brother?
How's it going? Thank you for having me, man. This is like surreal. Cause like my hands are shaking as I'm like listening. It's like Jazzy B in the background. I'm on here talking to you guys about this as this is happening. So this is like a dream come true. I think this is so Brampton. The moment right now is like, it's so amazing to have this happen in our city.
I kind of feel like you're guilt tripping me from keeping you from the show.
No. This is amazing, man. Like people can listen to this happening. I'm here while it's happening. So it's like very spacey for me in my head.
Yeah, technically we're bootlegging the show as it's taking place.
We really are, but he's gonna get his royalties for sure. We can see that.
Well, Ameek, another joke that I want to crack with you is that before you arrived, there was a lot of city councilors here.
Yes.
But as soon as you arrived, they all left.
Yeah.
So I almost felt like they were scared you were going to question them on something.
No. I wasn't going to. I was actually, I made a point not to make this a moment about, I was going to bring out the petitions for the healthcare stuff, but I think we can give the crowd a rest for tonight, but it's good that they're all here and understand the significance of this moment it means to the city. I think this festival can grow into something quite big. Vibrant Brampton. Thank you for putting this together, Nav. Like, I don't think we give you enough props for this, but this is beautiful. I think a lot of the times we take Brampton for like being, a suburban city that doesn't have culture, and this clearly shows that, culture does. Oh man, I just can't. With the music in the back, it's so beautiful.
I know. Don't worry. We had Taman earlier, and she had her jam on, so while she was conveying a certain point, her jam came on, and it totally threw her off. So it happens. Don't worry. But man, so Taman and I, in the previous segment, we were talking a bit about family traditions.
Yes.
We were comparing Vibrant Brampton as being like a mela, and for those that don't know what a mela is, it's a family meetup.
Yeah.
And we started getting into like, what does this look like for people in our generation? And then it got deeper, and we started talking about family traditions.
Right.
So I want to get your thoughts, man. What do you think of people when it comes to second generation individuals that are the children of immigrants? How do you feel about them holding on to their culture, and what kind of means do you think they should provide to keep that happening?
I think culture is something that changes dynamically with time, and so does language. So it's one of those things that we used to have meles in the back to celebrate the harvest season. So this is when all the harvest would have been done back in Punjab. That's where primarily most of the people were here from.
Yeah.
So we're in the celebration of that, or we have a big festivals, the Diwali happening, or the Shada happening, or Vaisakhi happening, all these festivals to celebrate life. And in a way, in Canada, summer's so short. This is our way to celebrate life.
100%.
And we are doing that. Traditions have an essence to them. It's showing gratitude. It's showing respect to where you come from. And we've carried on that with this sort of experience that we're kind of taking. Anywhere you go, you can't not wear your culture, because before anybody says hi to you, they're making a perception based on how you look.
Yeah.
And that's going to go on regardless. So it's on to you to, if you take that as a positive and wear it on your chest as like a badge of honor. And in essence, that's what we're doing here in Brampton. We are wearing our heritage, our culture, our background, our ethnicity, our race as a pride of honor. And Punjabis have done that for a very long time, but we're doing it with a new take, and we're smart about it now that we're questioning things that don't need to be carried on in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So the stuff that's bad, get rid of it. The stuff that's good, highlight it even more, make it even better. That's what progress looks like to me.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a good point, because there is a lot that I guess our generation may not see eye to eye with the previous generation. But ultimately when it comes down to it, man, like an event like this, an event like a wedding, an event like, you know, having a child, tradition, it always comes back to tradition, man. It always comes back to that feeling of where you were when you grew up. We had Monte on earlier, and part of their whole approach with this festival is to come out with flavored drinks that take you back to a certain time. And I see you're loving the mango nectar right now.
That's home, man. Like, I think any Brown family knows that when you go by the flyers, right? Every family does this on Wednesday. They're going through back regarding what's on sale, right? When they see the Monte, everybody puts a circle around it, get me 10 boxes of this. And when you go in the grocery cart, you see the milk. If the milk's on sale or if eggs are on sale on Shoppers, people are voting on that. And also the drink itself. So shout out to Monte for understanding that mango means a lot to the people.
And in my view, this is multicultural marketing done right.
It is. It's the best of it. So I think, that makes sense. I think brands are appreciating culture too. So if people start wearing their culture as a badge, people understand, like, okay, this is something that people want to do. So you can market something with it. You can push products with it. So I mean, mango juice when it comes to it. We think fruity back in the day, right? Fruity was like the flashback. If you went to the brown stores before, like Cholo Fresco came around, you had the limcas and the fruities and what was the other soft drink?
Rubicon was there too.
Yes,
Rubicon was there.
Rubicon was the OG like mango juice before like Fruity came over and like just put like the industrial take on everything, but not Del Monte.
My whole theory on Fruity, if we're going to theorize here on New Theory Radio about Fruity, is that it was literally orange, sugar, and water.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes, it was mostly food coloring. It was mostly food coloring and sugar. That's what it was, and something to make it pulpy. That gave you that feel.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting. It's like, what did they put in there to make it pulpy? I don't know.
Starch, cornstarch. Cornstarch.
Taman, do you know why Fruity was so pulpy?
I would go with the meat. I have no idea. That's like some type of substance they're using.
Oh, it might be.
I wasn't allowed to drink Fruity.
Ameek, what do you do in your daily life as a child of immigrants? What do you do to kind of keep up with your culture?
Well, other than eating the food that is so deliciously made at home, I think that's part of like culture. If you're having roti, if you're having your dal and sabzi every day, that's part of your tradition. Sitting together, kind of not like, well, everybody has this. I don't know, like summertime it's more obvious when you start going to people's houses, but like right around this time, either they have Sauga radio playing in their house, or they have PTC Punjabi, the Basha live telecast playing. So that's something that like wherever you'll see like Punjabis hover around, you'll see Gurbani happening in the background. So that's something like that's background music for people. So like if you're from the faith, you definitely have that playing in the background. So that's something I think we all do, because we should be sitting down and praying. But if you're not, back here, the boss playing in the background, so you can go ahead and like, do whatever, scroll through your phone. But like, you feel like you're taking part of culture. That's something that I think we kind of hold on to things in our own intuitive sort of impromptu way,
You know what? I got to give a huge shout out to Darshan Maharaja.
Yes.
Here on Sauga 960. I saw him yesterday at Vibrant Brampton Day 1.
Yeah.
And he left. He's my first time actually like talking with him. And I've always been a fan of his. And he left me with some great insight, and I had to believe him, is that multiculturalism here in Brampton is no longer a niche. It's totally mainstream.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me, because if you think about a festival like this, you look around, it's not just South Asians that are here. You see your non-Indians, you see your Asians, you see everybody here having a good time. They're all taking in Jazzy B. This is what really, to me, spreads the message around multicultures and why it's so important.
Yeah, exactly. It is important, and I think we're in that time period where we came up in school where we had to kind of Canadianize ourselves to seem normal, quote unquote normal. But now we're at a stage now like Cholo Fresco and, mainstream, the Happy Diwali and all the things of that nature that do happen. are so mainstream part of culture. Like, it's not like, oh, have you had a samosa? Like, no, everybody knows what a samosa is.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's mainstream. We are mainstream, and that is the fact that we celebrate each other, and that's where we stand now.
I also love how Jazzy just turned on the music for us.
Yeah.
He's like, hey guys, you guys doing the show? We're gonna turn it down a bit. Ameek, we're obviously approaching an election here. Let's talk a bit about politics really quickly.
Okay.
Where do you see? Because just last week, Jagmeet Singh for the NDP rolled out his couple candidates.
Yes, he did.
How do you see multiculturalism playing here within Brampton in the upcoming election? Considering that within Peel, we've seen a lot of interesting views pop up, maybe stemming from the municipal election from last year.
Yes.
What's your theory on the role multiculturalism will play in the upcoming election?
I think for a past, it's just been tokenism. It's been understanding, like, yes, you have a member in the House of Commons. Yes, we do have turban-wearing Sikhs. Yes, we do have people that are Muslim. Yes, we do have people that are of a Jewish background. Yes, we're checking off boxes. But in order for this election to actually matter, if we look past that and look at the policies that they're presenting, not that's the one that's up, he's one of ours, and we've gone past that. I think hopefully this election cycle, we are mainstream. We have a turban-wearing Sikh as a federal leader running for the prime minister's position. We've seen opposition things, how things are being positioned in the media, where he's considered as, he's a newcomer, he's very green, which is true, but that goes for a lot of leadership positions in the past. This is not brand new. Like, things change in politics all the time. But going forward, if Canadians understand on a world level that policies have to impact you here, and not just things back home, because a lot of the times the news media, the way things are processed, we kind of vote with what our parents tell us. That's been the qualm for elections in the past, or we vote as a group. We have a lot of groupthink, but this is the first time where in history, I think, in Canada, that individualism is kind of taking the term, like, no, if policies matter to me, if environment is important to me, if the economics is important to me, you're seeing people of multicultural background go on the side and pick different parties that vote for the positions that they have in mind.
Sorry, we're just being distracted by our two producers here who are doing a choreographed bunger dance as we're after the
show. They are. I've never seen Joty smile like this in my entire life, and she's dancing.
This is the most at ease I've seen Joty in the studio. I think it's because we're doing a remote at a Jazzy B concert.
Yes, we are.
One last thing I do want to get your theory on is we had some polls come out last week. It looks like the Liberals are catching up again.
They are.
They are getting some steam. I know ever since the SNC Lavalin scandal, there was a lot that took place.
It did, and you kind of see like things kind of playing out of the news cycle, and it's kind of gone out of focus.
It totally has.
It has, because there was nothing, as far as we can see, that was there. The Conservatives were trying to position this as a stunt to kind of like just shock and awe the Canadian politics, and it picked up a couple of news cycles. But we had the inquiry happen, nothing came out of it. The economic numbers are really good as well for the Liberals. So in terms of talking points, they're kind of scratching their head, like things are pretty okay for the most part. Yeah, we have some diplomatic issues that need to be resolved, whether it's China or whether it's Russian interference or a relationship with other countries in the world. But we're at a point now where we have to see this kind of play out again with what matters to Canada. And we're playing in a protectionist world now. We're kind of playing as the good guys, like, guys, free trade works.
It does.
And we have to kind of highlight that again, I think, because the world's going in a very closed-off space. And when you get cagey in economic policies and free trade policies, that's when things starts going like left. Because everybody was, if everybody eats on the table, everybody's happy. But once you start hoarding one thing or saying, no, we don't want your pork, or no, we don't want your canola, it's impacting farmers, it's impacting producers, and it's impacting consumers there. So, end of the day, you kind of have to see big picture with everything.
Okay, one last thing, and then we'll let you go enjoy Jazzy B.
No, I can stay here, man.
All right, you know what? We'll do a couple more minutes. A couple of random rapid fire theories I want to run by you before we're going to the upcoming election, because you definitely know your stuff. And, we don't talk too much about politics here on New Theory, so let's do it. What's your theory on the Green Party? Will they get more seats in the NDP?
Yes, they will. But the campaign manager, they have picks for their sort of framing them in the next upcoming election.
Oh, this is my jam.
Did you say Brampton or Vancouver? Okay, because I asked. Oh, he's at London. All right. Anyway, sorry, I was totally thrown off. But yeah, so the Green Party, coming back to it, we're so distracted. It's not even funny. You're like,
this is my jam from like back in the day.
It is. Yeah. And so yeah, the Green Party definitely needs a campaign manager to be changed a little bit, because the guy, he's known for running dirty politics. He doesn't focus on issues, and that's not the Green brand. That's not what people are believing in. If people are just veto voting because they're not happy with the current administration, they're just not happy with how things are running Canada, we can't have a Trump moment and people just start voting randomly and kind of go left. My ideal situation in any election, regardless who's in power, is a minority government.
Oh, 100%.
Because everybody has a say-so. Every political stripe has a say-so in the decision-making process. Yeah, things don't get done fast enough, but that sometimes is a good thing, not a bad thing. Because we're seeing when things are moving fast enough with the current, let's just look at the provincial government, people were just like pulling their hair out for like a good half of the year saying what is happening, who co-signed this policy to go through, and they're making U-turns on everything now, shuffling the government. But in essence, what the platform they ran on, they're very vague. And when you have vague policies, it's very hard to criticize you. You're easy to get elected as like a protest vote. But when you're just coming in as a protest where you don't have actual mandate, you got elected, now you have to do something. And I think that's what people that are voting have to keep in mind. Like, yeah, you're trying to protest, but be strategic. Does the party comes in power, if the leader comes in power, do they have the ability to govern? Sometimes we have to put those two things together, the ability to campaign and the ability to govern. So,
okay, next theory I want to get your opinion on. Will the People's Party of Canada get more than 3 seats?
No, I hope not. And it's an ugly sort of layer of the onion we have to peel in any society, and that element exists everywhere. It's not just in Canada, it's in all over the world. You have this protectionism, us versus them stuff that's happening. And unfortunately, some people are seeing this as political capital. It's a trend. It's sort of like, when trends in clothes go away. So we had like the baggy look in the 90s, right? Yeah. That's kind of gone now. So I feel like this is like the baggy clothes of politics. Like it's kind of going to go away. People are going to see how obscene they look in a couple of years, kind of doing this, and they're going to let go of this stuff.
All right, one last theory, and then we'll let you go, because I know Jazzy's just banging out the classics right now.
He is.
October 2nd. Yeah. The election's October 1st, right?
Yeah.
October 2nd, 2019. Is Jagmeet Singh still leader of the NDP party?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Because he's come out with a very dynamic team. He is going towards reconciliation. He is pushing a progressive environment policy. So much so that his pharmacare plan, a lot of it, you can see the Liberals kind of taking some pages out of his book and saying, we do need, national pharmacare. If that's something that is important to Canadians. Maybe the second time around we're rolling this out, that we iron out the kinks, because we did have a pharmacare plan in the past. It wasn't that successful. That's why we don't have it anymore. But to implement it, buying power, if your whole country's buying a drug, it does give you some leverage when you're making that decision-making process. Just look at Bernie on the other side. He's now sending Americans to Canada to get insulin here because it's so expensive in the States because of how insurance companies run stuff there. So clearly there's leverage here. I hope he does stay. But, politics and things change, overnight. So if he doesn't, he doesn't. But I think he does, based on how things are looking, and like the party is kind of united behind him for the most part.
Yeah. Well, Ameek, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
this
welcome.
was great.
Thank you for having me.
It's Ameek Butler. You can hear him on Big Talk on the weekends, right? Saturday?
Yes. Saturday, 10 to 11.
10 to 11. He always, he's full of just a lot of knowledge when it comes to the political scene, when it comes to things affecting not only Peel region, but Canada in general. Yes. And I'm sure you and I are going to be connecting over the next few weeks. For the upcoming election, you're going to hear a lot from Ameek and I here on Sauga 960. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm too distracted by Jazzy B. When we come back, more here at Vibrant Brampton on New Theory Radio. from Vibrant Brampton at Garden Square. It is New Theory Radio, the show we theorize on all things current affairs, pop culture, and everyday life. We got Jazzy B, the king of Fungar, in the background, absolutely killing it. And I'm very honored right now to be joined by an individual that I've always wanted to have on the show, but she's too busy, helping making the show happen, and doesn't want to be on air because she's too important. But she's going to be on right now. It is our station manager extraordinaire, Joty Pannu. Joty, thanks so much for joining us on New Theory Radio.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a goal. I've always wanted to have you on because I feel like a lot of our conversations should be recorded.
Yes, we have really good conversations.
We just might have to put like an explicit rating on it, or might have to vet through the conversations because I know you and I get pretty deep.
Yeah, we do. We do have really deep conversations, but it's good, right?
It is good. It is good. I saw you dancing earlier. Are you getting ready for Dancing with the Stars, Mississauga?
Yes, actually, my first session is tomorrow. So I will be doing my first, training class, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you decided what genre yet?
I think what did we agree on? I think we agreed on tango, right?
Tango,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do tango.
Oh, so Taman, are you managing Joty?
No, she forcefully is making me do tango.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
I thought you
wanted to do salsa. Yes, I do.
The salsa's in right now.
It is, right?
Can't you just go to a couple Zumba classes and there you go?
I don't think it's like that, no.
Hope I didn't offend anybody with that comment. No, but that's okay. So, Dancing with the Stars, Mississauga, you were recently nominated to be a part of this event. Tell me about it.
So, this event is taking place on November 1st. If you were to go on Community Foundation of Mississauga, you'll see my picture and you'll get to read a little bit about myself. And this is my jam, just saying. And you'll hear a little bit about, not here. Oh my God, now I'm going to be feeling.
Everyone's distracted by Jazzy right now.
It's Jazzy B. It's you know what? It's those songs.
It is.
This is what I heard when I was growing up. Right now?
He has a classy playlist.
Yes, he does, and his performance is all classic.
It is.
Right? But anyways, if you go on to Community Foundation of Mississauga, you'll see a picture of me, and you'll get to read a little bit about me, and you get some money. So the money that I'm collecting is for obviously Mississauga. It's for I should probably get more.
It's okay. We'll post about it.
Yes, we are going to post about it. Basically, what our mission is to get donors to basically get the community involved, do something for the kids, do something for the community. We're making a better community. We're making it stronger, and that's what we're working towards. And my goal is $10,000. Wow. And if anybody wants to donate, they can go on to Mississauga. Foundation of Mississauga and make those contributions.
Yes, and please donate, support our wonderful station manager, Joty Pannu. She's going to be so wait, do you have only one dance?
Yeah.
I thought you'd have to do like a series.
I have to do, no, it's just one dance, but I have 40 classes to learn that whole dance.
Okay. And then how many opponents do you have?
I have 5 other.
And you're the only woman, right?
No, I have another one.
Is that Shelly White?
Yes.
Oh, Shelly White's awesome. Shelly White, she used to be part of the Peel Board. Oh, sorry, no, United Way. Mm-hmm. And I used to interview her a lot on Rogers TV. She was amazing.
She's very nice, and all the contributions are going to go towards the community, and basically what they do is, identify long-term needs and the opportunity. That's money in there, and basically they're helping the community to make Mississauga a better community.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah.
When it comes to Jazzy B, when it comes to like South Asian music in general, it's very like mainstream music in the sense that people love the classics.
Yes.
Why do you think that South Asian music is still is like that? Because for me, like I was hanging out with Darshan yesterday.
Yes.
He was with us at Vibrant Brampton, and he mentioned that I think ever since like 1993 he hasn't heard a good Bollywood song.
Well, you know what? I think it's more about the classical music. I actually enjoy listening to old school music, like Surinder Kaur, Prakash Kaur. I go way back. I like listening to that song, and it has meaning to it. Like nowadays, if you listen to the songs, it's just like all about girls, about gangs, and that type of thing. And like jazz, like this song is like it's so catchy, but I guess we grew up listening. back.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like, there's so many songs out there, there's so many singers out there, it's so hard to keep up. But when it comes to the 90s, I think those were the songs that actually had a meaning to it. And it wasn't too much bass or, you know, too much background music taking over the singer, that type of thing.
You know what? I heard a theory, because we are on New Theory Radio. Mm-hmm. The reason why our generation is so obsessed with nostalgia is because we're so depressed about the stage in life that we're in that we go back to nostalgia to think about how happy we were.
You know, that's so true. Now that you think of it, like, now, so what do you think about, what are you thinking? What memories are coming to you?
Right now, hearing Jazzy B,
to this song.
I'm thinking about being like 10, 11, and like running around at a banquet hall, carefree, probably pissing out my parents.
But yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, or like going outside or hanging out with the homies. Or I used to do dancing back in the day too. Wasn't very good. Mm-hmm. It's a little secret. If anyone has any footage, please burn it.
Or send it to me. My email is Joty at sauga960am.ca.
Actually, the other thing about Jazzy B that I'll give him credit for, and if I get a chance to talk to him after, I'll let him know, is whenever I used to wear like baggy clothes and my parents would make fun of me, I would just be like, hey, Jazzy B's wearing it. And Jazzy B was like my free pass to wear quadruple XL.
And do you notice when he started wearing kundas and
everybody did.
Everybody started doing that.
I had a silver kunda around my neck.
Right? And it's because of him. Otherwise, you know, and I guess our generation would have not worn it because we think it's too religious, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But he started rocking it, and then everybody started doing it.
I remember the Goodwater were selling a lot.
Yeah.
Like, eventually too. And they probably always were, but then more and more people.
I think more of like outside, you know, Canadians or like the new generation in Canada, they started doing that. Yeah. Otherwise, kids wouldn't wear kurtas. They wouldn't wear anything kunda related. But as soon as Jazzy B started doing it, everybody started doing it.
Everyone started doing it.
Right?
Joty, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. That's again Dancing with the Stars, Mississauga, goes to for our homie. She makes the station possible. She makes these live remotes possible here in Vibrant Brampton. And I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have more from Garden Square here on New Theory Radio. We're recording live from Vibrant Brampton here at Garden Square. All of a sudden, we got a lot of wind, so our signs are falling off. But we got our producer, Joty. She's going to go deal with it. But now I'm joined by a good friend of mine. She is my MC wife.
Yes.
Because we MC a lot of events together.
Your better half on stage, not off stage, but on stage.
Hey, and you're also a former Miss India Canada.
I'm a former Miss India Worldwide Canada.
Whoa, Worldwide Canada.
We have to separate it because there's two pageants, so you have to be careful with the titles.
So you and Pitbull are like one and the same then, because he's Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. Well, we have the India in there, so I'm worldwide for the Indian community.
I'm sure
maybe one day, just worldwide.
I'm sure
goals.
Pitbull could be Mr. India one day too.
Maybe. But yeah, it was Miss India Worldwide Canada 2010.
Yes. And she's currently a host on ATN. It's my good friend, my homie, my MC wife, Amin Dhillon. Amin, thanks so much for joining us here on Vibrant Brampton. You're looking very vibrant yourself today, wearing the yellow.
You know what? I brought the color this year only to find out you were not my co-MC. So I was like, what was the point of actually putting effort? Because by the way, Nav always puts in effort. He's wearing like he looks like a Bollywood actor. People mistaken for Ranbir Kapoor.
Hey,
so I was like,
there's a reason why I'm on radio.
No, there isn't. And I'm like, hello. So this year I try to stand out, and then you ditched me. So
okay. So I gotta tell a story because every time I MC with you, every time we get off stage, I swear there's always like a few individuals that storm you, and I end up becoming like your photographer, or I end up becoming like your like wrangler. Where it's
I don't have long arms like you do. Okay, I can't do the selfies. That's why I have the selfie stick.
It's all good. I mean, Dylan's very popular. You went to a wedding in Winnipeg and someone's like, hey, are you the person that's on ATN?
Yeah, so here in Toronto, I'm sure you get it too. I feel like people get used to seeing us.
They do.
Especially since we're like at every event.
We're old news very quickly.
Yeah, so people see us, they could be watching your show, but they don't come up to you and go like, oh my god, it's you, right? So I was at a wedding there in Winnipeg, and so I've been doing TV like since 2011.
Oh yeah, for a while.
Long time, yeah. I'm an old soul now in the industry. So anyway, so I was in Winnipeg, and people like kept looking at me, and then finally people were like, hey, we're from Surrey, we're from BC, are you Amin Dhillon?
Oh, wow.
Or some people didn't know the name, but they're like, we know you, but well, we don't understand why we know you. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm on TV. And they're like, oh my God, we love watching your show. We watch you all the time. Some of them actually brought out some interviews.
Oh,
so you know they're legit when they actually bring up interviews.
When they actually name your work. That's awesome.
They're like, you did a great job. What's really sad is I don't even remember that interview. I'm like, oh, cool. I interviewed that guy. Oh, when? Okay. So that was really cool. I was really touched. And it just really was nice to know that we have a national audience and people give love.
That's the crazy thing too, because I find that when people realize you're in media, it does, especially within sort of the South Asian community, it does really excite people, because I think there's that general excitement of seeing people that look like you on TV.
Yeah.
But I had a situation a few months ago where I went to an anniversary party and I met an old individual who's a reporter for the Punjabi press, in Amritsar. And he was my dad was my son does a radio show. He was so amazed by the fact that I was doing a radio show. It got to the point where I think he felt he's another media guy like me. He showed me his Punjab press pass. And I was like, okay, you're way more legit than I am. But I guess there's that, I guess when you do media in North America, it just feels like you made it, right?
Yeah, but also because we are sort of an entertainment.
We are.
I feel like in India they have quite the serious news reporters. I'm sure you've seen the TV shows where there's 20 faces are arguing and you're like, what are you fighting about? Yeah, and it's like the Brady Bunch, but you're like, how many faces do we have and can I be one of them? But I feel like because we don't get as serious into politics that we're a little bit more approachable, and plus we do these live concerts. We get to hang out with people like Jazzy B.
I know.
So people like us.
Who's killing it. It's funny how Jazzy B is our soundtrack right now underneath us talking.
I know. This is when we pump ourselves up before a show. We just jam to him. Where's that song that's Beware the Boys, that Punjabi MC? That should be your jam.
That should be.
And the warning to me to beware of all the boys.
If that was going to be my jam, it'd be the Jay-Z version.
Okay, sure. The one song that is played at all the clubs.
Hey,
Nav, can you sing?
No, I can't.
Okay.
If I sing, it's going to kill the station.
If I get people to tweet enough, let's say 10 people, will you come up with the new dance anthem in Punjabi?
I won't do that, but if you can get 10 people to tweet, I will rap Jay-Z's full Beware the Boys.
We're in Brampton. We're doing Punjabi right now. We got Jazzy B in the background. We need a new party anthem.
I just in the last hour I talked about how terrible my Punjabi is, so I'm not going to expose myself.
Yeah, I was like, can I name any of the songs? Yes, I can, but I will butcher the names. But it made me happy that my co-MC also was struggling.
Yeah,
I heard
Jake Deere.
So it made me feel a little bit better because I feel like he's from Moga. By the way, he will tell everybody he's from Moga.
Yeah, Jake really
so he's
Moga
street cred.
Yes.
I'm from. Where am I from? I don't know if people know.
You're from Winnipeg.
No, but background-wise, so I'm Punjabi. But my dad's from Graya.
Oh, okay.
So my mom's from Pind, Narangpur, and if you don't know where that is, it's behind Lovely University. That's how we give directions.
There's actually a university called Lovely University.
Yeah, and my mom's pind is behind there. So
I find that Punjabis have an obsession with the word love, love neat.
Yeah.
Love isn't lovey. They love the word love so much.
Why not?
Why not? I guess that's a positive way to sort of go about life.
Exactly. That's why people love us, because we just give love wherever we go.
I'm actually having a kid in December. You think I should name him Love?
I think you should call him or her Amin. It's a very unisex name. I'm scared the next generation, they're not going to use it because it's been very popular this generation, right?
But Amin's actually... Aminav, why not? Aminav actually sounds like a real name.
Yeah.
I've met Abhinav before. I think Aminav before.
Okay, what's your wife's name?
Anu.
Okay.
So we've gone by, our hashtag for our wedding was Navanu.
You can use that for your kid.
Yeah, sounds very...
your kid is going to hate you, by the way. I hope you have a good nickname.
Well, that's the debate that her and I are having, is do we go traditional or do we do what everyone else is doing and name our kid after a Game of Thrones character? I don't know.
So all of my friends are giving names that apparently are Indian-inspired, but I've never heard of them before.
Okay.
So there's Aiden. I have a friend who named her kid that. Arvin. What are the other names? There's always a good old Samir or whatnot, but Bodhi apparently I had a friend name. Apparently that's got Sanskrit. I think they're just making this up now, but apparently that's a background. So it's interesting how they're coming up with these names. A lot of Mayas. I've been seeing that for Indian couples. So there you go.
I find that they're getting very simple because I think for me, even though my full name is only 6 letters, it gets mispronounced all the time. I get Ameek all the time. And that's why I shortened it to Nav. And I feel like a lot of people in our generation that are having kids, they're going with very easy spelling names with easier enunciation. pronunciation, which is kind of bad when you think about it, because you're like, ultimately, why don't you take the time to learn someone's name? But a name like Amin is pretty easy.
It gets butchered. People call me Amin all the time. Amin.
Is that
I'm like, I'm not Amin. Yeah, but still, I still think it's pronounced Amin if you like actually go in right? Like I think it would be, but whatever. All I can recommend is for the parents that are thinking of naming their kid anything, just make the spelling like how you pronounce it. Because I've seen take a normal name and then they change the spelling because they're trying to be cool, and I'm like, but now we won't know. And as MCs, I hate butchering someone's name.
You want it phonetically. So you pronounce the name properly. My sister-in-law did that, so her niece's name is Gavia. The real spelling of Gavia is Kavya.
Yeah.
She added 2 A's. So now, and they live in Singapore, so whenever someone non-Indian has to say their name, it's said phonetically how it's supposed to be said, right?
Yeah.
Like even for my name, like Navit, I've seen people actually switch the A to the U. Because they want the nub sound, right? Versus Nav, which is what I get. But I've kind of accepted Nav. I think it's part of my brand now. But it's fascinating to see. I fully agree with you on that. I think that's really important because it'll allow people to really know how to pronounce these things.
Yeah, because as somebody who, like, if I could go back in time and start my media career again, I would have given myself a easier stage name. I kind of just, like, fell into media, and I, like, didn't actually, well, I do say that because, like, after I did the pageant, that's kind of how I got doors, because then I went to India. That's how I started, like, getting exposed to everything. I didn't actually, like, set out to be like, I'm gonna end up being a public personality, so I would give myself a stage name. I didn't have that, so I kind of just fell into it, and it was too late for me to come up with a name. But if I could have come up with a stage name, I always say, like, Amin Dhillon with the I is my stage name, because it actually is properly A-M-A-N.
Is Amin your real name?
It is, but because I spell it with an I, that's kind of become my stage spelling, right?
You're the only Amin with an I that I know.
Which is, it turned out really nice that when people see that, they know it's me, as opposed to every other Amin with the A. But if I could go back, I would have, like, given myself an easy name. Like, I was thinking Ginger Dhillon. It's kind of cool, right?
It kind of sounds like a Punjabi singer name.
But that's what I'm saying. It would be easy to pronounce. It would make me stand out. I just think, and something just different. Like,
is it because you love ginger? Is that why?
I don't know. It just, I was making adrik ja, ginger ja, so maybe that. But I was just thinking of something cute, and then just thought, because I was thinking also one day I'll become a DJ. And I was like, what's my DJ name? And I was like, I can't be DJ Amin, because I'm pretty sure every guy in Brampton has that name already. Can't be DJ Dhillon. I was trying to do like Dilly Mac. And then I was like, that's weird. I don't know if that's the thing. So then I was like, it'd be cool if I was like, just like Ginger. Like one name. Like, not even have 2 names, just one.
I don't mind Ginger Dhillon. I think that'd be kind of cool, because nowadays a lot of DJs don't even put DJ in front of their name anymore. And that could be
my stage MC name too. It's like, and here it comes Ginger.
MC and DJ at the same time.
Sure, why not? I already have like 10 jobs, so why not? Okay, so folks, let's name, just so that you know, everyone in media has like 10 jobs.
Oh, they do.
I don't know what is our problem, but we always add. So I have my TV career.
Yes.
I have my MC career.
Yep.
I have my own line, my beauty brand.
Yeah.
So I'm doing lashes, and then I'm going to get into other stuff. I have my own podcast, Rock and Monroe.
Yep.
I've got my own podcast and digital series I'm working on called In Conversation.
Which you still got to get me on, by the way.
Yeah, I need you to come on there too, which is going to be more inspirational for millennials. What else? I do a brand ambassadors ship and social media campaigns. So how many jobs is that? I don't know, 6 or 5. Yeah, but like, geez Louise, right?
Nowadays it's very hard for like a media person to just do media, because unfortunately it doesn't always pay the bills, right?
I've been fortunate. Yeah, it depends. Like, I think you're right. You can't always,
unless you're Amin Dhillon.
No,
and you're seen in Surrey.
You're right, in media. So I've been very fortunate that I've had like a full-time gig with TV, which unfortunately a lot of my friends haven't, because TV is like struggling.
It's so tough.
But like, I just feel like because we're so creative, we always want to like expand into the next thing. So I don't know anyone that just does one gig. Like, I don't know one person that's just a writer or just like a producer or just a podcaster. They're like, I want to do this. I actually have a friend who's writing a book right now.
Really?
So I'm like, on top of her other stuff. So
we actually talked about that a few weeks ago around multitasking and whether, because I find that nowadays people are so obsessed with wanting to do everything. Like they're like, you know what, I want to start a business, and I want to do a podcast, and I want to, run a nonprofit. Like, people are so obsessed to wear multiple hats that there's that fear of not wanting to specialize, because then you're sort of limiting yourself. I'm in the same boat as you because, you know, outside of New Theory Radio, I do have a brand marketing job. I'm also I'm also a producer for another show on a different network. I do some, you know, TV freelance every now and then.
You're doing Meta Brampton, so you're...
Yeah, I'm a curator. Like, I'm also a husband. I'm also a soon-to-be father. I'm also, you know, other roles too that require a lot of time. And for me, I always have this mentality where I need to be busy all the time. That if I feel like one of those falls off or one of those is completed, I'm like always looking for something else. Are you in the same sort of wave as well?
Well, I just feel like I said, media, it's not stable.
It's not,
and so one of the things I know I get a lot is people always say, I'm one of the OGs. Like, I'm one of the originals because I've been around since 2011. And people are like, wow, like I've seen people actually come and go. I've seen media brands start and fall apart. So, you know, I'm very lucky that I got in a time where I've been fortunate to just take opportunities. But it's because I pushed myself to take every gig. Like, growing up, you know, I knew I was very fortunate to move to Toronto. So here's quickly my story. So I'm from Winnipeg, went to business school, thought I was going to be in business. I had a fantastic right out of university marketing job. Ended up going to India because I could finally go to India. I went with my family. The Miss India pageant was happening there. So everyone there was like, oh my God, you got to go. It's like the biggest deal. So I was like, okay, try to go for it. But at the time, you had to be an Indian national, and I was a Canadian. So but now they've changed it by the time I couldn't. But the bug was there because I was like, I saw how big it was. Like, people were making such a big deal, and I wasn't used to that. Here, we don't make a big deal. So then I was like, let me see if I could do that here. Ended up coming here. I went to Miss India Canada, never did a pageant, went, you know, I was like super scared on stage. I had to perform, I had to do all this stuff. It was really tough for me because I've never done it. But then again, I got bit by that bug where I'm like, oh my God, this high off the stage, knowing how to work the audience, how to like look calm and collected. I was like, this is a really interesting skill to develop. And unfortunately, you don't develop that in school.
No,
like, you don't ever get thrown in a situation where the spotlight is on you and everyone's judging you like in a beauty pageant. So I made it to top 5 there. Didn't win, which is fine because I didn't deserve to. I made a lot of mistakes. And then after that, I was like, let me work on what I wasn't really strong in. Let me go again. And then Miss India Worldwide Canada was scouting for a Canadian winner. I ended up going for the auditions. I got it. And then I got to represent Canada in Durban, South Africa. Amazing. Again, a girl that didn't grow up in pageants. I had to teach myself everything. I hired myself a choreographer. I studied videos. I practiced public speaking. Everything. Made it to top 10 there, which again, I was perfectly fine with because those girls were very much more seasoned than I was. But because of that, I got to go to Mumbai with a bunch of other girls and do modeling there. Again, by fluke. I did it for fun. But that's how I got into media because, again, I was given a microphone, started just chatting away. And then my current bosses saw me. And when I moved here, I didn't have a job. I just wanted to work, and I thought entertainment or marketing. I thought, I'll do marketing for like TV. And so when I approached my bosses, they were like, we saw you doing TV. Why don't you try part-time with us? And honestly, I was by chance there. They had seen me already, and within like a month or so, I got promoted full-time, and that's my story. So I'm very grateful for that, and because of that, I know I'm very lucky to have got that break, because I know there's people that have gone to school, have like masters, have hustled, done everything, and they're not getting full-time gig work. So for me, it's like, now I don't never say no to anything. So if you offer me a gig, I will bend over backwards to make it work, and that's the secret, I think. You gotta just never turn down work.
You gotta go for it.
Because one day those calls are not gonna come in.
They're not. They're totally not. And I think what you said is, I think your story is definitely very, very inspiring. And I have to agree with you. Like, I never did a media background as well. I literally just was volunteering at Rogers. I had the bug because I loved presenting in school, and I took drama for 4 years back in high school, and I always loved being in front of audiences. But I still remember, even at volunteering for Rogers TV, and shout out to Jake Deere, who was your co-MC, who I'm going to admit gave me my start.
And by the way, that's how we know each other. Shout out to us, because people are always like, you're very comfortable with each other. I'm like, we were interns together, so we were like babies. We knew each other.
We were youngins. And it's crazy because I would do like TV shows, and I would see people, to your point, that were studying, that were doing a lot in the media space, that were grinding it out for like 10 years before I even started. And it's such a tough industry to crack. It is. But you know, someone like you, I think what you've been able to do is use your platform to be able to build your own personal brand. Yeah. So God forbid, you know, tomorrow tomorrow everything goes online, you're ready for that.
Yeah, and that's my advice for anyone. Like, I mean, we're kind of, I guess, these specialists in media, but I think in any industry, personal branding is very important. So don't get comfortable being like, oh, I have a job, it's all good. You never know.
You never know.
It's going to be gone. I mean, we know many people that have been very talented or have been very high up that have been let go, and then what do? So, you make sure you always have, I say, a bunch of things happening, because if one thing goes away or falls apart or maybe isn't for you, you have other things to fall back on. Very important. And
that's applicable even if you work at like a 9 to 5, because in this economy, you just never know, right?
There's no stability anywhere. And I always tell people, do not assume your employer owes you anything.
I feel like you're getting attacked by bugs right now.
I know, the bugs are just trying to get in here.
It's probably the mango juice that's beside you.
Thanks for putting mango juice right beside me. Thanks a lot. Here I am, I'm like, is it me? There's also like a bunch of candy in front of me too. So
That's hilarious. Amin, just quickly, we're going to wrap this segment up, but if people want to connect with you, what's the best way? You have obviously a lot on the go. What do you have coming up? Because you're actually emceeing a few events too.
Yeah, so coming up, the Miss India Worldwide Canada pageant is back. It actually went away for a couple of years, and so it's back under new management, and I'm going to be hosting.
All right,
so I'm so excited. It's nice to be on the other side, so that's going to be really, really fun for me. That's on August the 10th.
Excellent.
A Holiday Inn at Toronto. And then I've got other emceeing gigs. I was talking about my own podcast that I'm going to get you on, and my digital series. That is for sure being launched this September.
Okay.
Because enough is enough. I'm like,
you've been working on it for a while. I do get random calls from Amin asking me like tech-related questions.
Yeah.
And I always feel bad because I can never answer them.
And that's why it took me for a long time, because I was trying to learn.
Yeah.
And then now I'm at a place where I learned about equipment, and then I started getting guests. It went from like a few guests to like having an entire season.
Yeah.
And then I'm also producing and editing it myself. So on top of everything I do, I literally, like, people are like, what do you do in your free time? I'm like, what free time? I'm like editing. Like, I don't understand. So yes, look out for that. It's called In Conversation. So if you guys want to check that out, just look me up online. I'm at Amin Dhillon. Again, Amin is spelled with an I. That's A-M-I-N.
You should trademark that. That should be your brand.
Maybe. And then Dhillon is obviously spelled the Indian way with an H there. Look me up. I would love for you to connect and look out for that stuff, because you know what? I actually have, like, it's amazing when it's your own baby.
Yeah.
And I actually put in a lot of work to just, feature people that maybe aren't able to make it for TV, but they've got stories. Yeah. And I think that's important, is telling their stories.
And good for you for profiling that, because I think that's important. I think everybody has a story and they all need a platform, and I think this platform is going to work well for you. So.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get you on. So folks, if you want me to ask Nav any tough questions, tweet them at me, and I will ask them, and I will make him answer, because I'm his work wife.
You're opening up a lot of can of worms right now. And you know what's great about Brampton, and what's great about Vibrant Brampton specifically, is the fact that it's a festival that really brings people together, not just within the city, but all across North America. I'm now joined by an individual who's from Jersey City, New York, and they're here at Garden Square to check out all the action, check out Jazzy B. It's my good friend Roli. Roli, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So what brings you to the city of Brampton?
So Brampton is known as, I guess, little
yeah.
And so we came to the family. Obviously, Jersey City has the Desi scene, but it doesn't have the Bhangra scene, the North Indian scene that we have up here. And so we came in to visit a family, and we saw that Jazzy B was performing, so we decided to come out.
Yeah, and that's probably super cool too, because you're probably just here visiting family, just enjoying the downtown scenery, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Jazzy B's performing? Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and it's like a free concert. With stuff like that in New York City at all.
You never do. And it's crazy because I know New York, there is a bit of a scene, and it's funny that you're from Jersey City, because my wife's cousin actually lives in Jersey City. She's a consultant, and we were hanging out with her back in February when we were in New York. And shout out to Thanu, she's probably listening. I remember her telling me that there is like a tight-knit community, because she would spend like Diwali and Holi with all these other individuals that were from India.
Yeah.
And it's very kind of inclusive, but it's not really at the level, I guess, of what we see here in Brampton.
Right. I think it just deals with the immigration, but I think so much of a South Asian culture here that you didn't have to necessarily assimilate into the culture.
Yeah.
In the States, I think a lot of our families that came in the 60s and 70s, they had to assimilate. And so you don't see that retention of the culture. I look at Jazzy B, I just remember my Bhangra years from college, and I was.
Wow.
But I think the thing, like, you had to really reach out and try to find your roots.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like it's everywhere. It's in your blood.
It truly is. And that's what's fascinating too. And I think you bring up a good point is, I've gone to New York a bunch of times. I remember I think we were Queens, and that's when I kind of saw the Indian area of Queens. And I was never familiar with it, but the Punjab Delhi is there, obviously. Yeah. And what's fascinating about it is, to your point, it didn't seem like a Brampton to me. It seemed like everybody was kind of on their New York-ish, and they were kind of cool, and they were totally aware of everything that's been going on. While here in Canada, you go to a place like Brampton, and it feels like you're in India. Because I remember I went to India for the first time a few years ago. I was in Punjab, and I remember I was at a plaza, and I'm like, it really feels like I'm in Brampton.
No doubt. I think everyone embraces their language, embrace their religion, their culture. We didn't want to talk about politics, and we still don't want to talk about politics.
Hey, if you want to bring up politics, we'll bring it up.
I am not defending our president, and I think that's the part of the problem, is that we're dealing with a time and circumstance where middle America doesn't want to necessarily accept us as a diverse country, and so I think that's where the resistance comes in. We have so many hate crimes. It's actually outrageous. Just last week...
was that the Gurdwara one, or...?
This one was actually just a Hindu priest who was walking and he was assaulted by a guy who told him that he was in the wrong neighborhood. And so it's just that is, it's actually very pervasive, the metropolitan areas, right? Like New York City area. This is happening.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, I can't foresee something like that happening here.
You would honestly be surprised. And I'm glad that I think you're the first full American I've had on the show. So we're gonna get a little deep, but we won't get too political. But with what happened when Donald Trump was elected back in 2016, and the trickling effect that we've seen here in Canada, I feel like his ascension to being the president of the U.S. has given a lot of people permission here to really share how they feel when it comes to things like immigration, when it comes to things like multiculturalism, when it comes to the fact that Canada does have a pretty, I would say, compared to most countries, an open door when it comes to refugees and immigrants. There's been a lot of resistance towards it, to the point where we actually had an alt-right candidate in the last municipal election in Mississauga. Obviously the People's Party of Canada is a new party that got started that's going to be coming into play during the federal election. There's this underlying permission that now exists where people are really sharing their honest feelings. And we've seen a lot of it even here in Brampton. There's been times where you'll have this sudden incident that takes place where someone's racially motivated with a comment or an action, and it makes you think, all of a sudden, this never was going to happen a couple of years ago. Why is it happening now?
But you have a prime minister that actually supports you. He supports diversity.
He does,
he up. I think you also have, because South Asians here seem to be the mentalities in the majority, that a lot of those are isolated events. I think what you have in the States is that you don't have a president that backs you up.
Yeah.
The minorities are on the fringes, and so here we are now led to have activist organizations that are trying to speak up and voice exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
We're hoping that things will change next year, but we really have to mobilize.
Okay, so let's talk about immigration law for a second, because I have two friends that have married U.S. citizens, and for them to even live in the U.S. just seems crazy, because they've gone through a lot when it comes to the visas, when it comes to being sponsored, when it comes to being eligible for employment. What kind of immigration law do you deal with, and why is it so complicated versus sort of the process here in Canada?
Yeah, that's it. I ask myself that every day, and actually, to be honest with you, we're part of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. We actually advise, given the climate, the anti-immigrant climate, if we don't have options for immigrants here in the U.S., we actually advise them to apply to Canada.
Wow, really?
The mentality for immigration in the U.S. is actually quite backwards, right? It's the idea is that anybody is coming to immigrate, right? And so the idea is that you prove reasonable doubt that you're going back home, and where the idea is in Canada is hey, because we understand that you're promoting our economy, promoting education, you're making livelihoods here. That is so drastically different in the U.S., and so you'll see every level, whether it be legislation, the way our statutes are designed, and how our quotas are filled up, every
actually stacked against the immigrant. And I do definitely business immigration. We also do a lot of family immigration. Family easy and very straightforward because if you're married to a U.S. citizen, it's very, it's very much a straightforward process. We're finding a lot of problems against folks that are coming on the H-1 visa. We have a lot of Canadians that are on TN visas. Those are non-immigrant visas. You're up against like an entire invisible wall is a very real thing.
Well, because I've had people who have married U.S. citizens that have had to have court marriages just to even get the process going.
Yeah.
And these court marriages will obviously take like 6 months or a year before their actual wedding,
right? Because
that's just the timeline that they're dealing with.
There's huge backlogs, and that's what we were talking about. Trump is building. He's not getting border funded in Mexico like a legit wall, so he's creating these backlogs. I mean, it's trickling down through separate agencies on every single aspect. Employment authorization, 2 months to do, or taking driver's license. Yeah. It's actually stifling, and so highly recommend if there's a way to come to Canada, get yourself to Canada. I'm being very honest in terms of American.
I feel like you're not the first American to endorse Canada.
In the States, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's become. It's becoming so taxing for us to practice immigration law. While there's a lot of business, it's just the clients are so they're so uncertain with their own. It's very hard to guide them, and so it's not a very fun profession to be in at the moment.
I bet. And you know what? It's just seeing the U.S. economy and just where it's trending, and obviously we're all it's funny because in Canada we do care about U.S. politics. Trump got elected the week of my wedding, so I still remember staying up watching the results. I'm a marketer by day, so I was working on a brand plan, and I had to get it done before I took holidays for my wedding. And it's almost everyone knew where they were when he got elected, and it was unbelievable. It was honestly scary. No one could predict it because we'd always, even his performance leading up to the actual elections was questionable and just filled with scandal. And I'm really curious about 2020.
Yeah.
I'm really, as much as we have a federal election coming up in 2019 in just a few months, I think I'm really looking forward to 2020 and seeing, who this Democratic candidate's going to be and how it's going to unfold.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it behooves us to actually really activate and really get out there to push the vote. The South Asian vote really needs to come out in full swing in order to change the tide, right?
Yeah. What advice would you give to anybody who's maybe seeking an immigration lawyer and wanting to, whether it's trying to apply for a visa to go work in the U.S. or whether it's simply wanting to move to the U.S. For a new opportunity or for a family reason, what advice would you give to somebody who's maybe hasn't even looked into the process yet, but it's been in the back of their mind they want to make this move?
I think so. One is definitely, if you're looking at an immigration attorney, you would definitely want to make sure that they're barred in the U.S. because the law for each state is different, and the United States laws for immigration are much different than Canada. I think you would also want to have a chronology of your immigration history.
Yeah.
Things make it so straightforward and so easy for an attorney to understand. And also your goal. If you can identify exactly what your reason is to immigrate, that gives the immigration attorney a very clear understanding of how to guide you. Because,
gotcha.
So that's what I would recommend.
That's awesome. That's great advice. And Roli, if any of the New Theory Radio listeners want to connect with you, whether on social media, if any of them do listen in the U.S., I think I have like a handful of U.S. listeners.
We'll get you some more.
Yeah, please do. Where can they reach out to you?
My website is www.bassocare.com. That's BASSOKHARE.com.
I'll have to hit you up when I'm in Jersey City next.
Please do.
Yes, we'll go for dosa or something.
Absolutely.
What an event. What a time. We got the Bhangra legend, Jazzy B in the background, absolutely killing it. We have a whole plethora of people down here in the square. I'm going to predict probably hundreds of people. I'm going to say within the 500, close to 1,000 people are jamming out here at Garden Square on this Sunday afternoon. And I think it's time to talk about the giveaway that we last week. We are giving away day one tickets to OVO Fest, this B2K, features Chingy. I feel like Drake might end up showing up because this day one's getting a lot of hate online, and I feel like Drake's just going to be like, you know what? If you're not going to come out, you're not going to buy your ticket, I'm just going to show up on that day too and make people feel bad. But we had a lot of great submissions. I'm going to spend some time reading them before we do the draw. But again, what we asked individuals to comment on a post that I had pertaining to OVO Fest next year. Yes, 2020. I wanted people's theories on how big Drake is going to go next year because it will be his 10th year that he'll be doing OVO Fest. So I thought it'd be awesome to just theorize and talk about that. And let's just get right into it. Let me read some of these comments because some of these were hilarious before we do the draw. One person, Made in Dhaka, said, I think that Drake will look to come back with a whole new album about not getting respect in the music industry. Now that the rappers have claimed the title, he will focus his attention towards new music and a possible acting role. So maybe next year Drake unveils the wheelchair Jimmy story at OVO Fest 2020. Maybe that's what this becomes. It becomes like a screening for the wheelchair Jimmy story. We had Anthony Law. He said Drake will bring out his son. Tell me, what do you think? You think that's going to be it?
Hell no.
Hell no? Hell no? We had Sook. He said that Drake will probably make it like a North American tour. So it won't just be, maybe there'll be OVO Fest in multiple cities.
I don't but that takes away from the magic of OVO Fest, you know? That's like a concert. Whereas Lollapalooza, like a North American wide tour. Like Lollapalooza is Lollapalooza.
That's true. Yeah, you typically make the city like a destination.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's no secret that Toronto itself, I think Toronto puts like tourism dollars towards OVO Fest too, so they may not want to share that. We have Usher says that Drake will provide free drinks for everyone because he's celebrating 10 years. I think at Bud's stage, that's going to be a mess.
Yeah. And did support local artists, though.
It would be. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. We have Hitzker. Hitzker says Drake will bring out Lil Wayne in celebration of the Carter 5 release. So the Carter 5 came out this year. So I don't know. Unless it takes a year to get Lil Wayne back in Canada.
Wasn't Lil Wayne already on it?
I was actually there when Lil Wayne came to OVO Fest. It was 2011.
Yeah. That was the first year, right?
That was the second year. I didn't go to the first year, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's already been done.
I know. Who knows?
Theories, guys.
Oh, okay. So we have our own Gil KG.
Represent.
From the Elemnt, co-host with Taman, who's going to be hosting Vibrant Brampton in a couple weeks. OVO 2020. Drake is going to go so big that he'll do the concert for free. That's why the tickets are so expensive this year, so he can do the free show next year.
This is my favorite theory. And I'm a fan of Bridget. She's my friend, but I'm a big fan of this theory.
I'm actually really scared if Gil KG wins, or if she doesn't win. I feel like she's gonna just write a verse about me and post on the gram.
Oh yeah, she's gonna diss you.
She probably
She's gonna be like, thought you were my day one, turns out you were a day two.
I know, literally. Oh, I like that, because day 2 is unattainable. We have Tanny G. Tanny G says Drake is surprising us with all of the artists that he brought out over the past 10 years. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking Jay, you're talking M, you're talking Stevie Wonder.
I think, sorry. I was going to pull out my theory.
Hey, you can. Unfortunately, you're not eligible because you didn't comment. But.
No.
Ambient Events said Drake will launch a new album at OVO Fest representing significant events from the past 10 years. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because actually next year will be Drake's, it's almost like his 10th year anniversary since Take Care, too. Sorry, no, since Thank You Later.
Yeah. That's crazy because that long.
You never do.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a 5-year run.
Yeah.
And Drake's having that Jay-Z longevity.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
We have Simona Rossi. She says, next year's theory, OVO tickets are free if we take home another championship with the Toronto Raptors. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think if he was going to do it, he should have done it this year.
would have been free.
If Kawhi stayed, I think it would have been free. I think Drake would have Kawhi'd and dined all of us.
Yeah.
For sure. And I don't know how certain I feel about us winning a championship next year. I'm a big Raptors fan, but who knows? Maybe Drake can give us that promise we make the second round.
Yeah, I think because I know that he was with Kawhi and he was offering something.
Yes. Then we have Amrinder. Amrinder says, wow, Drake brings out Eminem and Jay-Z to celebrate 10 years since their performance at OVO. Okay, so from what I remember, when Drake brought out Jay and Em, and I wasn't there, I think Eminem just did his verse from Forever. And I think when Jay-Z came out, I think Jay-Z just came and said hi and went, and that's it. I think he's like, I think that's all he did. I don't think he sang or.
That sounds Jay-Z.
It sounds like Jay-Z. Remember last year, everyone thought, oh, sorry, we just got interrupted because Jazzy play Rambo in a couple seconds. I feel like this might hit the shutdown. It's interesting because last year's OVO Fest, because it was around the time when Watch the Throne 2, On the Run tour was happening, and there wasn't a Toronto date. So people assumed that J and B were going to do OVO Fest and do it last year in Toronto, but they never did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Who knows? I find Jay and Drake are always on the outs, but then Jay was on Drake's album last year, so maybe they're boys again. Last but not least, we have Juruku, and she says, Drake to surprise us with a free concert with all of the amazing lineups. I think a lot of people think it's free next year. I don't think it's going to be free.
No. I think, do you have a theory actually?
My theory for 2020 for Drake is, when I went in 2012, this is, Fest is becoming big. That was the year where people were really paying attention, and it started to become hard to get tickets. At the end of it, Drake said that he was going to take it to the Rogers Center. He never did.
Yeah.
So I think if he's going to go big, 10 years next year, Rogers Center, it's going to be his first stadium show, and why not do it in your hometown?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be huge. I think more and more people will be able to experience it. I'm not a fan of concerts at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, because you're sitting, right?
And the acoustics aren't that great either. I think the only person I've seen that's done the Rogers Center properly was Beyonce.
Yeah,
Beyonce killed it during her.
Beyonce always kills it.
Yeah, Beyonce always kills it.
She danced last time she was here.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. And she had a runway too, and that show was nuts.
Yeah.
That show was crazy. Those are just a few of the ones that we got commented, but let's do it. As you see, Taman is shaking the tumbler. And we are going to see who with a pair of OVO tickets, and if you are the winner, we will DM you on social media, and I will personally find a way to get you the tickets before August 4th. And again, let's build the anticipation. Keep shaking it. It's like
my jam is on now.
I know, she's shaking it to the Jazzy B. All right, should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna choose one name, and remember.
Wait, actually.
Yes. Oh, we're doing it this way. Okay. So I'm going to close my eyes.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. Actually, Amin, make a video of this.
For transparency purposes.
Yeah, for transparency purposes.
Otherwise, if Gil KG won, it's rigged. I'm joking.
If Gil KG wins. But again, yes, we're on the air right now. New Theory. Draw the tickets for OVO Fest Day 1. Reminder, if you are the winner, for you to win your ticket or to get your tickets in hand, you also have to show proof that you subscribe to New Theory on iTunes or on Spotify. As well, you have to be liking both New Theory Radio on anything, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and you have to be liking Sauga 960 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. So it's about that time.
Yeah.
All right. Closing my eyes. Make sure nothing blows away.
No, I'm keeping an eye out.
Oh, I got one. And the winner of the OVO tickets Day 1 is Amrinder Minhas. You are winning. Oh, yes. And we have a clapping sound. The crowd's going wild. Jazzy B is going wild. Amrinder, expect a DM from me. You are going to OVO Fest Day 1 featuring B2K, Chingy. I'm sure Drake's going to show up. Thanks so much for participating. Thanks everyone else for participating. And yes, I will send you your tickets ASAP. I'm trying to cut up on the video. But, Taman, that's not all. Because we loved giving away things on New Theory Radio as well as with Sauga 960, I think you're also doing a giveaway as well, right?
Yeah.
We are, I guess we're giving away a pair each of tickets to a special screening next week. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so,
we'll give her a second, but there's a new series that's out called The 401, right?
Yeah.
The 401.
The 410.
The 401. The 401's a sequel, probably.
Yeah.
After the 410, you go to the 401. The 410, sorry. It's too hot, and Jazzy B's killing it. The 410 series is a CBC miniseries, right? And it's on digital. It's showcasing a lot of taboo subjects within the South Asian community. And here on News Talk, Sauga 960, we want to give away, I guess, a pair of tickets.
Yeah.
A pair from New Theory Radio. So there's a pair on the Elemnt to attend a special screening at MISAF, the Mosaic International South Asian Film Festival, on August 4th at 4 p.m. at Cineplex Cinemas in Mississauga. Yes. So if you didn't get OVO tickets for August 4th, you can go to this screening instead. It's sure to be lit. They're showing episode 1 of the 410 along with some other amazing short films. The event will feature a lot of the cast members, including the writer and lead actress Sapinder Rach.
Yeah, I've talked to her a couple of times. Haven't had her on the show. We're waiting for that.
Yeah, we gotta get Sapinder on. Yeah, it's super dope. Yeah. And again, for those who don't know what the 410 is, 410 is a CBC digital series that looks at the troubled relationships between a Punjabi truck driver and his daughter after he is jailed for trying to smuggle drugs across the Windsor-Detroit border. His daughter tries to get him out of prison and gets caught in the same world of crime herself. And wow, we're giving away these on social media. I'll do a post tonight about it to say how you can win. I think what we might end up doing is we'll get you guys to like and comment, maybe with your worst 410 experience. And then we'll give away a pair, and we'll do that by Wednesday, maybe. What are you doing for the Elemnt?
So for the Elemnt, we're going to put up a post later on today. So our show showcased yesterday, it showcased today. It'll be on right after the show, so from 7 to 9... 10. Yes. 7 to 10, sorry. Oh, yeah,
because your show's 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
The marathon show.
The marathon. But basically, you guys can so you have to like the Elemnt, you have to like Sauga 960 and you have to comment on your post what was your favorite part of the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of the Elemnt or the 410?
Of the Elemnt.
Excellent.
Of the specific
I like
episode.
That. I like it. You're bringing it back to it. So you know what? I'm going to announce it right now. We're going to do a post about it today. For you to win the pair of tickets to the 410 screening, which is taking place this Sunday, August 4th, a week from today, you're going to have to like Sauga 960 on Instagram. You're going to have to like New Theory Radio on Instagram, and you're going to have to comment on our post with your theory on the 410.
Yep.
And when is it going to get better? Because the 410, outside of it being a cool tie-in to this wonderful series, the 410 is just brutal every day.
Yeah, it is. I think, and you know what it is? You can't even extend it because there's like research that shows when you extend a highway or when you extend a certain road or like make the lanes wider.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
It makes traffic worse.
Wow,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like you got like an infrastructure degree or like urban planning.
I should. City of Brampton hire me.
I'm sure we can find some City of Brampton peeps here that will comment on that. Taman, you obviously host the Elemnt. What do you guys got coming up in the next few weeks?
So, right after the show, we're actually talking with Raman, Judge from Sing Me Up, and Tani Graywall from Ambient Events.
Nice.
And so we're talking about wedding season, which is, we're in it.
We're knee deep.
Yeah.
What's your theory on long weekend weddings? Are you for them or are you against them?
It is. Long weekends should okay. No, I'm not for them. Yeah. Because long weekends is when you road trip. It's that one time of the summer. But at the same time, I can't knock it either. Because long weekend, when you go somewhere, it's busy anyway.
It is.
So it's better to celebrate at a wedding either. I don't know. What do you feel?
I'm not totally opposed to it because you have, so for example, a lot of people I know like the long weekend wedding because they do the Sunday receptions and then they let people sleep in on the Monday. For myself, it depends on long weekend. If it's Victoria Day long weekend, I'm fine, whatever. The weather's nenever that nice anyways around Victoria sometimes.
Yeah.
If it's Canada Day, I'm like a bit not for it. There's Canada Days when you're really into summer.
Yeah.
Civic Long Weekend for me has always been an OVO weekend, so for me, I'm never a big fan of it. But OVO Fest is now on the Monday, so it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Labor Day, because it's the end of summer, so you kind of want to chill out.
That's the worst day to have, worst time to have a wedding.
But I don't mind Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't mind Thanksgiving because, you know, I feel like for us, Thanksgiving's like every day.
Yeah.
And an October wedding's nice because it's the fall season. And how many people are actually going away for Thanksgiving long weekend? Not a lot.
No.
So I'm okay if there's a wedding happening, but you know, you're seeing a lot of people doing weddings on like random days now. Like I have a colleague at work that's going to like a wedding, and the reception's taking place on Friday. Even Joty's giving me like a weird screw face. Like, what's up with that?
There's no anymore.
Oh, is that the issue?
Yeah, because like so far in advance, because everyone, all of us second generation are you know, like in the late 80s, early 90s, or in the 80s and 90s, like kids are now growing up and they're all choosing to get married.
It was fascinating because I've seen people do the Friday morning weddings now.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, if it's someone close, they'll take the day off from work. What I don't find, I'm wondering, are people going to bring back the one-day weddings? I feel like, because realistically, okay, like, and again, anyone who's non-Indian listening to this is probably like, what are you talking about? All of our weddings are one day.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have South Asian friends, you know for a fact our weddings go for like weeks. Like they're weeks on end. Whatever happened to a good old-fashioned Saturday morning Gurdwara wedding? Take a break midday, and then you hit up the reception hall at night. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because, you know, you gotta get the pictures in, stay edit, and then it's like really rush and go the whole time. And on average, I learned this, you know, when we last with our lovely guests, was that it takes an average about 3 hours to get brides and bridal makeup done.
It does.
And a lot of times, like when it comes to Sikh weddings, there's like that whole, like not even Sikh weddings. One of my brother-in-law, my cousin, she's getting married to someone who's Chinese Vietnamese. Shout out to Joe. So Joe actually. They have a similar tradition like a doli, right? When the girl's like going away from home, and they have the whole door thing where like they're being resistant to the groom, like, oh, you can't take away your sister. So they do. It's a very similar where they'll actually dance around and, you know.
Wow.
So like, and wear lipstick and like have all those fun dares. And so like all of that gets really hectic and gets pushed and people get stressed and it's a very unpleasant experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me because I'm like, everyone's kind of thinking about random days now. I know some people that are doing random days because there's like a date that probably has a significance to them. That's the reason why they want to do it. But I don't know. I think you're going to start to see more creativity and more of that taking place. I think are we wrapping up? Okay, I'm being told by Joty that we are wrapping up the show, but I want to give a special thank you to Vibrant Brampton and Garden Square in the city of Brampton for allowing us to do a Sauga 960 remote here. We're going to go take in whatever's remaining of Jazzy B, but do stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to have people on to talk about Rock the Coliseum, which is taking place at Mississauga Celebration Square. Thank you so much for tuning into New Theory Radio. You will hear all of us next time.
At American University, we don't just hope for change, we create it. We don't just dream of a better world, we make it a reality. With a graduate degree from AU, you'll access expert faculty and connections throughout DC to develop skills and experience to turn your passion into purpose. And that purpose can make all the difference in your career. Discover the difference a degree makes at american.edu/grad school.